Let's get to the NFC East, and we'll start out at the bottom. I'm sorry, and let me say in advance, for any fan who doesn't like where I have your team, the reason I've marked them down is because I do hate your team. That's why I did it. It's no other reason. I just hate your team.
Yeah, if you think I hate your team, it's probably because I do.
Well, see, I'll say I'm not that way. I don't hate your team. I hate you.
Oh, even better. I like that. No, I have the Philadelphia Eagles at 3-13, and as a reminder, when it's all said and done, when you accumulate all 32 teams, all the wins and all the losses, it comes out to be the same number in the win column and the loss column. Ergo, unless you have everybody going 8-8, there are going to be some teams that have very sad records. I think the Philadelphia Eagles, I don't like the Merkenmeyer of the Sam Bradford situation with the kid now sitting behind him. Chip Kelly undid a lot of good things going with this team. The thing I like best, though, is I like the defensive pieces quite a bit.
And Jim Schwartz is there now coordinating the defense.
The defense is an exciting thing, but I like Dorial Green-Beckham. Anyway, Rank, how say you?
No, I think they'll be a little bit better than you're giving them credit for because of that defense, and that puts them a little bit higher than these other three teams who just can't stop anybody. And if the Eagles can play enough close ball games, because they'll be in a lot of games, and I will use the Bears of last year as an example, where there was a lot of 50-50 type games where it broke on a play here and there. If the Eagles can get some of those, I see them getting towards 8-8.
I think, listen, by week 6, come on, go with Wentz already. I think the writing will be on the wall. Harmon.
I don't know. Wentz is going to be losing so much time with the hairline fracture and everything that he might not be an option to take over midseason. There's not a lot I can get excited about on this Eagles team right now. I do think the receivers have some potential. Dorial Green-Beckham has as much talent as any player in the league right now. I still have a little bit of hope for Nelson Aguilar, though he has not built any momentum in the offseason in a positive fashion. And Jordan Matthews is good in his role, too. If their offense hits, they could put up some points. I like Peterson as a coach, but not a lot to get excited about right now.
I'm intrigued by the irony of a generation after Chris Carter couldn't make it go in Philadelphia and had to be traded away early in his career to Minnesota and then took off in a Hall of Fame career. Dorial Green-Beckham is a physical specimen, and I wonder if Philadelphia will reap those rewards a generation late, or is it 2 generations later? Either way, I have the team in our nation's capital at 8-8. I'm sorry. They're enigmatic, so I guess 8-8
That's about right.
Right
that seems about right.
They
can't run the ball. That's one of the big
running game, but they do have defensive pieces. But you know what? I like the Cowboys even better at 9-7, even though they have zero defense to speak of. I agree with Jerry Jones, who I think recently said that the strength of that unit is the secondary. They do look decent back there, at least compared to the other.
I was going to say they look decent by comparison.
Right. But the offense is going to be unstoppable. I'll say it for the millionth time now. I think every game they play this year is 54-49. I think every time either team touches the ball, they're going to be a threat to score. But by a whisker, I'm going to give it to the New York Giants at 10-6. I think that McAdoo takes over in year 1. It's a nice, clean transition from the Coughlin era. Coughlin had him playing pretty good ball there quietly in the second half last year. I think Eli has a big year. I think they can run the ball a little bit, and I like the upgrades in defense. Harmon, how say you?
I think Washington is going to win the division again, as I mentioned up top, which is weird for me to stand up for Washington football considering how many years I've spent watching terrible teams there growing up. But I think they have the best offense. They have some real dudes in that secondary. I mean, they brought in Josh Norman, obviously, but Brashad Breeland on the other side is a really good player that I think enough people don't know about. They have some pass rushers up front as well. And so if they're shooting out with other teams there with their passing game, they've got the guys in the secondary to make hay. Dallas, I mean, I think if Tony Romo is healthy for all 16 games, they could run away with the division, but it's just, it's a fragile situation there with Romo's health.
I think the Cowboys end up taking that division. The Giants, I see them losing a lot of close games. I think the change at the top, Tom Coughlin was able to get them a couple more wins than probably they deserved. So I see them taking a little bit of a step back. I think 9-7 wins the division.